Now, it looks like Australia has opted to opt out of an international anti-corruption scheme which pressures the resources industry to pay their fair share of tax. The Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative requires miners and oil and gas firms to declare how much tax they pay per project around the world. There are more than 50 countries involved in the scheme. This includes African nations, the United States and the United Kingdom. But Australia has yet to put the scheme in place domestically, despite supporting it internationally since 2006. Now, the Federal Resources Minister, Keith Pitt, says the scheme may increase the reporting burden on companies. For more, I'm joined now by Clancy Moore from the tax transparency group Publish What You Pay. Thanks for joining us, Clancy. So what is the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative?
Thanks, Sue. Look, we all know that the resources sector is an incredibly lucrative and profitable sector, but this also brings many challenges around corruption, poor governance, and unfortunately examples of companies avoiding their tax responsibilities. So what the Extractive's Industry Transparency Initiative does, it provides a gold standard of reporting for countries' domestic resource governance. And already there are 50 countries, as you mentioned in the introduction, including the UK, Germany, Indonesia, implementing this high standard of transparency. And, Australia should be a leader and actually should be implementing this system in Australia domestically as well.
Now, as you said, you've been pressing the Resources Minister, Keith Pitt, on the issue. What has he had to say in communication with Publish What You Pay?
Yeah, so recently we got some correspondence from the Resources Minister, Keith Pitt, really outlining the government's plans to not proceed with implementing the EITI, as it's known globally. Now, this decision really breaks a promise that was made by then Treasurer Josh Frydenberg in 2016, but also goes against the interests and wide support from industry stakeholders, including Rio Tinto, BHP, Woodside and others, calling for high standards of transparency and accountability in Australia. So what we'd like the Resources Minister to do is to simply call a meeting of relevant stakeholders, including the Mining and Energy Union, those companies that are involved, and get Australia's commitment to the EITI back on track.
But Keith Pitt already says Australia already has an effective tax transparency framework. It will continue to support EITI internationally. Also, we have BHP and Rio Tinto, the biggest miners in Australia and two of the biggest miners globally. They already publish their tax reports, what they pay each year.
Yeah, so look, the role of Australian companies in Australia is really important, but we also know that there are over 700 ASX-listed mining, gas and oil companies operating in about 100 countries globally. Many of these countries have low levels of regulation and high corruption risks as well. This includes places like Papua New Guinea, Myanmar and parts of Africa as well. So the role of Australian companies is really important in terms of providing revenue for those countries, and that really requires the Australian government to set strong laws that get companies to publish their payments at that project level, because that's often where corruption takes place. And look, this isn't a new thing. We've seen these laws in place already in the UK, in the 27 EU nations, in Canada, soon to be implemented in America as well. So really, Australia should implement these laws both domestically and overseas and be a leader in this space and not a laggard, which it currently is.